Welcome back to the Andy Show. And today we're going to talk about my testimony and how Seeker of Christ has, in fact, uh, changed my life and how I've met God through that and how from day one to now I've changed and how things been going with my life and the background of it. So let's start with the background of my family and how my family reunited because we're mixed. My grandparents are Americans, my mom is Haitian. So we'll see how that grows out and how my life been affected by things that happen and how being a seeker of Christ just opens up my ways of thinking and reacting and just how God has blessed me throughout those years. So back in the days, my grandparents are missionaries. They went to Haiti and they uh, they were being missionaries over there. And my mom would work at people's house, and she had the chance to work at my grandparents' house. So when she was there working, my grandparents really liked them. Their trust and bond came up together and everything, and they actually made like a bond as a family. While my grandparents would be out, my mom would stay with the kids and everything. So throughout the time, my grandparents decided to move here to the DR, and my mom came with them here too. And they lived in Santo Domingo in 2003 from that time, and my sister was born. And then 3 years later, they came here to Jarabacoa. In 2006, I was born in July 20th and everything, and my brother was born here too. So I was born and raised in a Christian household. But when I was little, like 10, 11, in my little preteen, I really would see God as something. My parents would just always be like, hey, you gotta like, God is this, God is that. I actually didn't like take time to actually look at him and see who he was. But I would always go to like church, Awana, kids events for like different places of Christian and everything, and I actually didn't take God so serious. But when I turned 13, my grandfather he sat me down and said, "Hey, I just want you to know." He went with me through the salvation prayer, and that day I took God into my heart. So after that happened, I really didn't know what to do because during that time I was like processing the change of like being a teenager. I was a really devious kid somewhat. I wouldn't listen to my teachers. I would do whatever I want and everything sometimes, and it just like was too much. So I turned 13. My 13 year was really difficult because my relationship with my grandparents and my mom was a little rough because I thought I could do whatever I wanted to do whenever I wanted to. And my school wasn't doing good. Like my grades were during that grade. The only grade I had that was good was probably PE, physical education, because I was moving. So then that year was pretty rough. When I turned 14, was there. I'd see God, but from far, I wasn't that into it. So I turned 15, and I went to this Young Life camp, and I actually like, even though there's some moments are good and stuff, but I actually felt I was touched by God and His presence and by the Holy Spirit, and I really was motivated to like take the next step with them. So after I went to that camp, I got baptized the week after because I felt the need that I had to grow my strength and my faith and just my character in God. So after those things, like those events happened, my life just like changed completely. Things that I used to do before, I stopped doing. Like I used to like go out a lot and like do dumb things like throw rocks at houses and this and that, and things that aren't nice, and I used to speak to people that are nice. I used to speak to people in not a so nice way that they would always be like, yo, like, I don't know what I did to you, but why do you guys... I didn't have respect for nobody, only my grandparents and my mom, because they're the only people that could actually expect me from being disrespectful. But after that, I started to like seek God in a lot of things I did and everything. So COVID hit that same year, and that's when my faith, instead of going down, it grew a lot. It grew my knowledge, my matureness, and how like I matured in my relationship with God and how I react to other people. I used to really think about what people would say, think about me, and how what they thought would affect me, because I just wanted to like please everybody and everything. And it was really hard on me, because a lot of people, when I was a teenager, like 14, 15, before I knew God, thought I was really annoying, disrespectful, and I didn't have no respect for nobody. So that during that 15-year-old, like, I grew in my maturity and my relationship with God. So I turned 16, and when I turned 16, my good friend, apart from the teacher, she's a really good counselor and she's a really good friend. Miss Darmus. I met Miss Darmus when I was 15. Well, when I was in 8th grade, and throughout the years, our relationship has grown really, because she's taken the time, listening, understanding me, and giving me advice to do better. And when I turned 16, she came really clutch and really big in my life, because she always was there when I really needed her. She helped me a lot throughout relationships that I got into, or questions that I had for God, and she always had an answer. She always led me and always had an answer for me. So that year, Mr. Amos was like, Andy, you're a true leader. Which during that time, I didn't really believe it, because I was such a follower. I was like, oh, I follow you, I follow this. And I didn't see it. So throughout the time, like throughout my early 16, like until the end of like my 17-year-old age, I was really battling the fact that how I could be a leader, how I could help other people look up to me, and how God can use me to get to other people. So that year, I had one of my friends get saved through me, and I had one of my friends used to go to church, come back to church, and be more faithful through God's like will and through leadership that He has taught me, and I have learned and like have used it for good. So now, coming back to my 17-year-old age, I can see that those challenges that God put me throughout those years weren't for nothing, because now I can say that yes, I did go through a lot. Yes, I overcame, because I had people around me, I had people that I could cry on, talk to, get advice from. And Mr. Morel was one of those guys too that really helped me grow, help me be a man of God, and help me take the next step. Um, After that, I had some encounters in life that I would say it was challenges. Like I had a girlfriend, and she was a handful, and I'm glad God put me through those stuff, because he taught me that patience is key, and that He could use anybody just to get that other person out of whatever hole they were, or see a light that nobody does. And apart from that, I really been there for my little brother and my family, and it was a really good thing that God has used me to lead here at home and at school, and at my church. So something I really saw during my years of like being faithful to God is that a lot of people have different opinions. Their religion as well. Everybody have their different opinions and stuff. So it was really hard sometimes to like cope with those opinions because I'll just like instead of saying the truth and it's like you're wrong and this and that, I've learned that not all the people want to hear that, but use what they say to make your point be shown. And that was really big. So now that I'm 17 years old, turning 18 with a couple months to go, I would say that I think I'm doing a pretty good job. I've been a good leader. God has helped me in a lot of things. He has taught me the ways of right and the ways of wrong through other people. And he has surrounded me with my family. And even though when I was a child, I grew up without a father, and God has always been there as a father. And I have been loved everywhere. But anyways, thank you for listening, and I hope you have a nice day.